100 years ago, 108, I know. But 100 years ago, life on this planet has changed so much that sometimes we don't have an idea how they lived. And that's exactly what, for me, Australia is all about. It takes us back in time, 100 years, to the time of the apparitions, which is not too much. So we're not talking about 14th century, 16th century, we're talking about last century. But still a big difference between the two eras. And this helps us to see how they lived and to position the apparitions in time, in place when it did happen. As I said to some of you, I mean, rock is the most common thing you find in a mountain, and that's why they had stone houses, because it was the cheapest way of building a house. Today it's a bit of a luxury if you've got to put all that stone around the house, but it's expensive. But those days it was the only way to build a house, because it was easily available, all the stone that you saw there. They sometimes, as I said to you, people say, oh, they were poor. I don't think they were poor. If you have properties which you can feed yourself, you can feed the family, you are almost self-sufficient. You're not dependent on anybody. You don't work for anybody. You work for your own family. So the family used to get involved. The family used to participate as well. Everybody had a duty. Everybody had something to do. So it was easier, and obviously for the goodwill of the family, they benefited from that too. It was life those days. Today, they don't like families. Actually, the governments, they don't like when the family is united, because we become too strong. And but yes, mainly I have to remind you that in this case, this religion, I'm talking about the Roman Catholic Church, has always promoted the union in the family. It still does. But it used to be much more in the past. All right, if you look around here, and if you look ahead to the left, you can see this part of Portugal. This is the center of the nation, more or less. This is much greener than the Algarve. Algarve is it's a semi-dry area. Okay, we don't have much rain. The rain we have, it's precious. Although we don't need water reservoirs anymore, like or cisterns like they had. We need water reservoirs. We need dams. We need water so we can drink it. We can use it afterwards. In Algarve, we don't have much rain. That's why the rain sometimes, it's precious. And obviously it rains at winter time, not every day. The winters in the Algarve are very pleasant because you have sunshine, like you have right now. Just the temperatures are cooler. But you have rainy days too. That's when we don't have the sun. But if it's not raining, which it doesn't happen every day, you know, it's sunny normally in the Algarve, not here. Okay, so here there is much more rain. It's cooler as well because you're on top of a mountain. I'm not saying it's extremely cold, that's not what I'm saying. It's cooler than the Algarve. But the difference is the amount of rain. So you have more green, obviously, more trees, more little forests or small forests around here than what we have down there. Actually, the northern part of Portugal, and this is not the north yet, the more north you go, the greener it gets. You're going to start having mountains, like we have one here, but at the north, lots of mountains with small villages in the valleys, in between the mountains, which is extremely pretty. If you like landscape, I have to tell you, although I live at the south, the north is much nicer. Why? Because, and cooler as well, and the winters are a bit colder and much more rain. But that's what gives them the beauty of the green. It's very green, the northern part of Portugal, very green. And we have to remember that Portugal as a nation, it started at the north, and then they conquered all the way down to the south. And I'm talking about the 1100s, okay, 900 years ago. So that's when they start conquering and building the country we have today. But it started at the north. So basically it is at the north that you see most of the monasteries, the palaces, the royal tombs, everything. It was at the north and then extended to the south, but initially it is at the north. So if you like culture, monuments and so on, the north is also fantastic, really nice. That's where the nation started. That's where most of the nobility had their palaces and had their lives was at the north. Only afterwards they came southwards. Right, if you look around you can see how green this is. That's what I was talking about. This is about more an open space, and that you can make the difference between this and the Algarve. Alright, we're going to face the motorway. We're going to go southwards, and we're going to be stopping in about 2 hours, more or less, as the same place that we stopped this morning, but on the other side of the motorway. Trees that you see here on both sides of the road, there's thin trees, lots of them, planted almost on top of each other. They are eucalyptus. Eucalyptus, by the way, they are not a European tree. 100 years ago, the Europeans, they collected the eucalyptus from Australia. These are not, these are pine, but down there were eucalyptus. Why have they brought eucalyptus to Europe? Because they were desperate already. They didn't have enough pine trees to make paper. So they needed a tree that could grow faster, and at the same time, like eucalyptus, grow faster, and they could be planted next to each other. If you compare the eucalyptus and the pines, because they were used for paper too, in the same area you can plant 10 times more eucalyptus than what you plant pine trees. So 10 times more, it's adding a 0 at the end of the number. And then how long does it take? That's also important, because you've got to sit and wait for the tree to grow until it chops off and plants a new one. Eucalyptus, these ones on the right, they take 3 times less than a pine tree. So it's not just 10 times more, it's times 10 and times 3 afterwards. Because while a pine tree grows, you can have 3 generations of eucalyptus. So it grows, you chop off, plant again, it grows, chop off, plant again, and it grows, and then the pine is ready. So as you can see, that's why we have eucalyptus in Europe. It's not the most friendly tree, because it's used to another continent and it destroys the ground. It destroys the ground. 6, 7 generations of eucalyptus and the ground is gone. Okay? You cannot use it anymore. It's like sea sand. It's like desert sand. So yeah, for the sake of paper, because nobody wants to run out of paper. Let me tell you that. We are surrounded by paper. Everything is made out of paper. It's not just the serviettes, it's not just the toilet paper, it's not just the printing paper, it's paper everywhere, the labeling, everything is paper. Paper bags, paper this. So we need millions of trees to make sure that millions of people, they don't run out of paper. That's the problem. It's not easy to solve it, let me tell you that. And on top of everything, eucalyptus has oils inside. I'm sure you've heard about eucalyptus oils. They're inside. And if you have a forest fire, eucalyptus makes it much worse, okay? It just, it feeds the fire. So when the fire brigade gets to an eucalyptus field, they don't get inside, they wait on the other side, because it's hell inside. Right, so a lot of bad things about the eucalyptus, but I like it. And remember, if you send the eucalyptus home, we'll run out of paper. And another thing that we have to remember is eucalyptus never asked to come to Europe. We brought it here. Alright, facing south, facing the Algarve. As I said, we're going to stop in about 2 hours, so have a good trip. Thank you. Quarter to 7, 6:45. Thank you.
Passport details.